This is 6 Minutes, the Seriously International Daily Newscast. It's Monday, March 3rd. I'm Jacob Shropshire.
And I'm Anne-Sophie Goninet. The sun is just setting after a bright day in Perth, Australia, while people in Louisville, Kentucky are getting ready for a chilly morning. Here in the WorldCrunch newsroom in sunny Paris, it's just after midday. These are the latest headlines. France and the UK propose a one-month Ukraine truce just as Kyiv is ready to sign a minerals deal with the US. Arab states and the UN condemn Israel's aid blockade in Gaza. And our daily quiz question comes from the Van Gogh Museum in the Netherlands. France and the UK are proposing a partial one-month truce between Russia and Ukraine, according to French President Emmanuel Macron and his foreign minister. This comes after British Prime Minister Keir Starmer rallied his European counterparts at a summit in London Sunday, where he said they had agreed to draw up a Ukraine peace plan to present to the United States in a strong show of support to Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. The summit followed Zelensky's clash with the US President Donald Trump at the White House on Friday. Meanwhile, the Ukrainian president said that despite the heated argument, his country was ready to sign a minerals deal with the US.
Egypt and Qatar have condemned Israel's decision to block goods and supplies from entering Gaza, saying it violates the ceasefire deal, while UN humanitarian chief Tom Fletcher described the move as alarming. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu announced the blockade on Sunday, saying that the country acted because Hamas was stealing supplies and using them to, quote, finance its terror machine. U.S. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick confirmed on Sunday that tariffs on Canada and Mexico will go into effect on Tuesday. Lutnick also said that the situation was fluid and that it will be up to President Donald Trump to determine whether to stick with the planned 25% level, indicating that an additional 10% tariff on Chinese imports remains on the table.
Low-budget dark comedy Anora triumphed on Sunday at this year's Academy Awards with 5 wins, including Best Picture, Best Actress for breakout star Mikey Madison, Best Director for Sean Baker, Best Editing, and Best Original Screenplay. Baker became the first person to personally win 4 Academy Awards for a single film. Meanwhile, Adrien Brody won his second Best Actor Gogh for The Brutalist. Now let's take a closer look at what the international press is covering.
Belgian daily La Libre led today with a photo of European leaders around a negotiating table on Sunday, headlining, "After the American shockwave, allies to the rescue of Ukraine." The summit in London, which also included Canada and Turkey, saw leaders pledge their backing to Ukraine after its President Zelensky clashed with US President Donald Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance during a meeting at the White House. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer said after the summit that Ukraine's allies would keep funding flowing to ensure the sovereignty of Ukraine. Iranian state media is reporting that former Iranian Foreign Minister Mohammad Javad Zarif, who was key to the country's 2015 nuclear deal with world powers, has resigned from the government as Vice President for Strategic Affairs on Monday. The move signals Tehran's rapid retreat from its outreach to the West as U.S. President Donald Trump intensifies sanctions on the country.
We have an analysis piece by Italian daily La Stampa on why the Oval Office clash between Donald Trump and Volodymyr Zelensky might be a huge gift to Xi Jinping of China. Jacob, what does this piece say?
Lorenzo Lamperti writes for La Stampa that the shouting match that Chinese media described happening in the Oval Office on Friday is playing right into Beijing's long-term strategy here. He writes that the reports from China said the incident, quote, exposes the deep differences between the United States and Ukraine over a resolution of the 3-year-long war. It is precisely on these challenges that China has been betting since February 2022, holding a position on the war in Ukraine that has substantially remained unchanged. Beijing is confident that the weariness of the Western Front would eventually lead all sides to accept its request for a political solution based on the principles of territorial integrity and respect for the legitimate security concerns of all parties. It is no coincidence that Xi Jinping is currently giving an extra push promise to what he calls his, quote, global peace initiative. However vague this new manifesto, it embodies the rebranding of China that can score diplomatic victories as a reliable alternative to the United States.
From French business daily Les Echos, we have a piece on how a currency war is currently reigniting ethnic conflict in Kosovo. The article goes through how Kosovo, through its Prime Minister Albin Kurti, is pushing hard to enforce the euro as its official currency as part of efforts to assert its sovereignty over regions still under Serbia's illegal control, risking in the process a dangerous escalation in a region already scarred by war and ethnic conflict. We're closing things out today with a daily quiz question which comes to us from the Dutch art scene. Amsterdam's Van Gogh Museum has unveiled a revisited version of Vincent van Gogh's sunflowers. What is it made of? A. Dried sunflowers, B. Lego bricks, C. Gouda cheese, or D. Bicycle parts? The correct answer is B. The Van Gogh Museum partnered up with Danish toy maker Lego to create a build-your-own version of Vincent van Gogh's famous sunflowers. Comprising 2,615 bricks and complete with adjustable pedals, the Lego version, slightly smaller than the 1889 masterpiece, is now available for just under $200.
That's the latest from around the world. If you liked this podcast, we would really appreciate it if you could help us out with a follow, a share, and a 5-star rating on your preferred podcasting platform. For more of the best of the international press delivered exclusively in English, visit us at worldcrunch.com. We'll see you here tomorrow. À demain.